Yes, please.
From a, yeah, from a process standpoint, we can look at psychoanalytic explanations of sicknesses given in this chapter, and the process standpoints will give us these kind of explanations. First, wish fulfillment. Second, projection. Third, disintegration. Fourth, attack on linking. Fifth, attack on separation. Uh, Sixth, deep disappointment and resignation. And seventh, uh, unprocessed material thrown out in the form of very disorganized catatonic motor behavior. Uh, Last one, fusion and confusion. So these will be the process explanations of all the sicknesses given in this chapter. So there is a set of phenomenological explanations and there is a set of process explanations. And within the psychoanalytic community itself, it's easier to have a consensus on the process explanations, but not easy to have a consensus of phenomenological explanations, because every school of psychoanalysis has a different explanation for the same sickness.
So, like, we understand that there are different explanations, different causation for schizophrenia spectrum disorders throughout. If we see the psychoanalytic explanation for each, how does a psychoanalysis proceed with healing of schizophrenia spectrum disorders?
Uh, Essentially, we go into the psychoanalytic psychotherapy, and there are two broad ways. If we are dealing with something which is circumscribed and the frequency is less, then we can go for something like ISTDP, intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy. If something is where it is happening too frequently or has been on and off for a very long time, or is in a acute or is in a severe mode, let me not say acute, acute will go into the very drug dependent state, but uh, something which is chronic and is moderate to severe category for a very long time, then in such situations we will have to go into the nature of symptoms, and based upon the nature of symptoms we can choose how to proceed with psychoanalytic psychotherapy. But what is generically true is this, that we are dealing with a set of we are dealing with a spectrum of difficulties which are very, very severe difficulties. So any disorder given in this chapter will require long-term psychotherapy, which will go from 1 year to 5 years of duration. And the person will have to come for therapy at least twice to 5 times a week. Mostly it will be twice. But some people with on the very acute end of the spectrum, they may even have to come 4 to 5 days a week, at least in the beginning, if not throughout the therapy.
So,
But as an average, you can say we are looking at 1 to 5 years. On an average, it is 2 years, and on an average, it is 2 days. So on an average, you can say it is 2 days per week and 2 years. That is the kind of therapy we are looking at. Now the next question is, how do we do this therapy? Now that depends upon the kind of problem we are presented with. If we are looking at delusion of persecution, we will do delusion of persecution with some amount of homosexual content. We will go ahead with the Freudian psychoanalytic psychotherapy. If the presentation is that the person feels he is being persecuted or somebody is following him who is a full person, who is an authority figure, or he is a kind of a one person in a triangular relationship that the person is involved in, which gives us a hint of the Oedipal dynamic, then we would go for the classical Freudian psychoanalytic psychotherapy. If the person feels that he is being attacked from all sides and he is not seeing any person, but he is seeing many objects who can attack, this looks more like a Kleinian presentation, and then we would go for a Kleinian psychoanalytic psychotherapy. If somebody talks about somebody being narcissistic and there is a breakdown into psychosis, we would rather first like to explore the Cohusian psychoanalytic psychotherapy. So based upon the presentation, we would like to For example, if somebody has negative symptoms of schizophrenia or negative symptom of any sickness given in this chapter, if we are dealing with the negative symptoms, the best way to go forward is to have an eclectic mix of Cohusian and Jungian psychotherapy. So I would say in terms of duration, 1 to 5 years, in terms of intensity, 2 to 4 sessions per week, and in terms of the nature of psychotherapy, depending on the symptoms we are dealing with.
So coming to holistic healing, holistic healing is something we hear today all the time. Is there a way holistic healing approach can help in healing of schizophrenia spectrum disorders?
Sure, it can. And I believe not sharing with the patients the options of holistic healing is, in my personal view, a violation of patient's rights. Because I think the patient has a right to know what options he has, try out those options, decide upon those options, and go into therapy as a more informed and empowered patient rather than a completely dependent and ignorant patient. So yes, holistic healing is something that we must look forward to, and it involves relaxation, uh, yoga, pranayam, homeopathy, uh, some forms of meditation, both active and passive. All these elements can be put together along with psychiatry and classical psychotherapy to accelerate the healing of the patient and also to enrich or enhance his own quality of life.
So, like, how is patient's education important in the context of this disorder?
It's very, very important. I think both patient education and caregiver education are very important, which are not being given the due significance we should be giving to these two elements in mental health. First, the moment the patient knows in terms of cognitive knowledge what he is undergoing through, that fear of that infinite unknown collapses into a finite fear of the very well known. And this is the first advantage, that the anxiety reduces down from the anxiety of the unknown to the anxiety of something which is very much known. And that is a huge reduction in anxiety. One. Two, he realizes that he is not alone in this world to have this problem. There is a community of people, a very large group of people who has this problem. And that sorts of rehabilitates the person further, reducing those elements of guilt, shame, and anxiety in him. Third, once he knows what is happening to him, the doctor can tell him the do's and don'ts, and he is able to abide by those do's and don'ts much better after having knowledge of the sickness he is suffering from. Fourth, he does not go into panic, and that does not then overflow into the family members and caregivers. Fifth, he knows what to monitor. So when he comes to the psychiatrist or therapist the next time, he comes with much better focused and detailed data of what is relevant. Sixth, he Googles, goes to YouTube, watches video, and does a lot of self-education. And also often they join groups, right, which are very, very healing in terms of peer support and in terms of peer learning and in terms of social togetherness and emotional togetherness. And seventh, and very importantly, uh, often they connect to very constructive and social causes, often trying to help others who are in need because they empathize with those people, and that in turn leads to a lot of good to them, both in terms of the ego strength, in terms of their goodness, internalization of the good objects, and overall health.
So that's actually, we can see a lot many other communities being built exclusively for supporting this spectrum, which enables not only the patient, but the desensitization of the stigma related to the disorders.
Very much so. In fact, we can look at two very successful communities. One is Alcoholics Anonymous, right, which is a global movement now. And there are many groups which are run. For example, one therapist I know who runs a group of women who have be suffered at the hand of narcissistic husbands, and either they are on the way to divorce or have already divorced. And it's a group which meets once a month, and the therapist coordinates the group, and women draw upon a lot of strength from each other, and as they share experiences they realize that what they thought were their own faults were actually not their own faults. It is a common difficulty that narcissistic partners present to them. So these kind of groups are very efficacious and very effective in dealing with this kind of many kinds of issues actually.
Now that is to do with the patient. Now, when it comes to the caregivers, what should the family members of caregivers do if they are helping someone with these kind of disorders?
First is to know what the disorder is all about, so that they don't panic out of ignorance as to what is happening to him. Two, to have a realistic prognosis of how fast and how much change can be expected, and what are the difficulties which are inevitably going to crop up on the way. Three, look after their own health so that they don't develop a secondary problem like secondary anxiety or secondary depression, which is quite common when you have to take care of for a long time of somebody who is passing through sickness from this spectrum. Fourth, the do's and don'ts, so that their innocent actions don't feed into very difficult fantasies of the patient and flame those fantasies further. So this is very, very important, because a normal lay person does not know what is the deep unconscious meaning of what they are doing innocently outside. And that often feeds into the sickness of the person. It flares it up all the more. Five, it enables them to seek out healing avenues for the better, and they know when the treatment is going right or not right, and if not right, they can contact other healers to try out better methods for the patient. So it's very, very important for both patients and caregivers, this whole idea of psychoeducation.
So that's like a psychoeducation for dealing with what you're going through, not only by yourself, but for your family and your loved ones, especially the caregivers. I think that is quite
Yes.
important. And thank you so much for sharing this. And thank you, Mr. Himanshu Vaidya, for sharing all your knowledge with us. We have covered today the chapter on schizophrenia spectrum disorders from DSM-5. In the subsequent videos, we will be covering other chapters in the same way. Do watch our coming videos and write to us. Namaste.